So you guys, God showed me recently that it was a man living inside me. It was this one particular time where I looked at myself in the mirror and I seen a man's face on my face. If you are not a Christian spiritual person, please scroll past this video. 1 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 14 says, "But people who isn't spiritual can't receive these truths from God's Spirit. It all sounds foolish to them and they can't understand it, for only those who are spiritual can understand what the Spirit means." So if you are not walking with God, if you're not obeying the Holy Spirit and following Him daily, you will not understand the testimonies that will be approached on this channel. There are Christians out there that obey, and then there are some that follow. So you guys, I've been dealing with this spirit for a very, very long time. It is generational. It's been in my family for a very long time. It goes after, it's in my grandmother, my great grandmother, my sister, my mother, cousins. It's a spirit that is generational, and this spirit is the spirit of masculinity. I'm sorry if you can't understand me. I'll make sure I put the word on the screen because I do have a lisp, so I kind of stumble a little bit. But I've been dealing with the spirit of masculinity for a very, very long time, for years, and it's generational, like I said. And what this spirit does to my generation is make us very masculine, to a point where we will cut our hair off, to the point where it's like, I'm not saying wearing all black is bad, but it gets to the point where my family just didn't feel feminine. I really didn't grow up with like aunties and grandmothers and mothers that's wearing pink dresses, that's wearing just feminine things. Like, I didn't grow up seeing that stuff and not realizing that it was a spirit behind us pushing us to become that masculinity. So it'd be times where my mama cut my hair off. It'd be times where she just didn't know how to show me how to be feminine. And I'm not knocking her for it. I'm not blaming her for it, because she didn't know how to do it. And the spirit just created a manly generation of men inside of a woman. So what this spirit would do to me is make me very masculine. So I get to a point where, a season of my life where I will feel no femininity. I wouldn't want to wear pink. I wouldn't want to wear perfume. I wouldn't want to paint my nails. I wouldn't want to do anything that had anything to do with a female. Everything I did became manly. The way I talked, the way I looked, the way I thought. So when I began to meet my husband, I met him in a season of when the spirit was really coming out of me. It got to a point where I felt manly in my heart. It doesn't matter how much you put on clothes. It doesn't matter how much you try to paint your nails or put on makeup. In your heart, you still feel like a dude and not a girl. So you're going to present yourself of what you feel like. And at those times, I felt manly. It'll get to a point where I wouldn't even want my husband to touch me. That's how my testosterone will be. I will become very aggressive, very angry, I remember it was recently what God showed me. One time I looked in the mirror and it was a man on my face, because that day, that week, I was dealing with this spirit. I was dealing with the testosterone that it was giving me. I would like speak manly. I would act manly. I just didn't understand, what am I doing in this season of my life? Why do I feel like a dude? Why do I feel like a man? Why am I acting like a man? And God revealed to me, it's because you have a spirit of masculinity that's pushing your a manly side out of you. And it was a time where I just cried to my husband because I didn't want to be manly. I didn't want to be masculine, but I had no self-control. And one thing I realized about this masculine spirit is a lack of self-control in a way of aggression. Sometimes I would get so aggressive with my children and my husband, my tone would come out manly. And I had no gentle, quiet spirit. I had no patience. I had nothing but a man living inside of me. And God was revealing that it's generational. This is what your mother going through. This is what your auntie going through. This is what your great-grandmother going through. This is what your great-great-grandmother going through. And it hit in my bloodline, and God is trying to cut it. And it's certain things that I can't do when it comes to this spirit. One thing we have to understand about deliverance, that just because you delivered, understand that that spirit can come back if you feed it. So I have to control my tone of voice. I have to control what I wear. Like when you feed the spirit, somehow the spirit can come back and control you. So it's like I can't really wear masculine clothes. I can't really do too much that's manly. So I have to control my tone. I have to always make sure that I'm wearing something feminine, because if I don't feel feminine, I feel manly, and that spirit gain access all over again. And God was like, you can't feed that spirit by doing those things. And this masculine spirit is something tricky, because it comes to a point where it's like you really feel like a dude in your heart. And it be times where I brush my husband off, where I don't want to kiss him, where I don't want to be intimate with him, where I just want to be in baggy clothes, masculine, man. Like I felt like a true dude living in my heart. And it was a spirit of masculinity. And it's like two dudes living in the same house, just in a female's body. And it was very ugly. And it made me a person that I didn't want to be, but I had a lack of self-control.